Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Majesty receives cable of greetings on the 53rd National Day. The International Monetary Fund affirms the continued recovery of the Omani economy with 4% growth and reveals at the end of its visit to accelerated growth of non-oil activities. The Committee of GCC Ministers of Transport and Communications agreed to operate the railway project by the end of 2030. The Foreign Ministry strongly condemns the attack by the Israeli occupation forces on the Shifa medical complex in Gaza City and the Israeli shelling of the area surrounding the Jordanian field hospital and calls upon the international community to urgently act to halt the deteriorating situation in Gaza. And the Sultanate of Oman won membership in the Executive Council of UNESCO for 4 years. With the advent of the 53rd anniversary of the glorious National Day and the achievements it embodies that have included all parts of our dear Oman under the inspiring leadership of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, His Majesty received cables of greetings on this national occasion from kings and leaders of brotherly and friendly countries, crown princes and senior officials. In their cables, they praised the wise approach taken by His Majesty the Sultan in leading his country to the ranks of highnesses and exaltation among nations, congratulating His Majesty on the achievements that have been achieved and are being achieved by Oman at all levels, praying to the Almighty Allah to bestow great goodness and prosperity upon Oman and its loyal people under the leadership of His Majesty, and to return such precious occasion on His Majesty and the Omani people for many years and long times. His Majesty the Sultan also received greetings on this glorious anniversary from their Highnesses and their Excellencies, the Ministers, Commanders of the Sultan's Armed Forces, Royal Oman Police and other security bodies, honorable members of the State Council, their Excellencies, the members of the Shura Council, Under-Secretaries and Omani ambassadors, as well as sheikhs, dignitaries of the country and citizens. The International Monetary Fund affirmed that the Omani economy's continued recovery with 4.3% growth last year due to rise of oil prices and growth in both oil and non-oil economic sectors. IMF experts pointed out at the end of their visit to the Sultanate of Oman to the accelerated growth in non-oil activities from 2.1% in 2022 to 2.7% in the first half of the current year. The experts revealed that the country was able to curb the inflation due to subsidized oil prices and the continuous reformation process, as the annual inflation rate receded from 2.8% in 2022 to 1.2% during the period from January to September. The IMF delegation said that prudent fiscal policy and the high oil prices supported the oil revenues, leading to a surplus in the fiscal balance and the current account balance for the balance of payments of the previous year. IMF estimated the current account balance will achieve a surplus of 3.1% and 3.4% of the gross domestic product for the years 2023 and 2024 respectively. The experts also revealed that the public debt level decreased noticeably in 2022, which raised the sovereign credit rating with estimations of reduced levels of public debt to reach 29.4% by 2028. The Sultanate of Oman, represented by the Ministry of Transport, Communications and Information Technology, chaired today in Muscat the 25th meeting of the Committee of GCC Ministers of Transport and Communications. More details in the following report.
At the 25th meeting of the Committee of the GCC Ministers of Transport and Communications, which was hosted by the Sultanate of Oman, represented by the Ministry of Transport, Communications and Information Technology, Their Excellencies, the Ministers of Transport and Communications of the GCC, agreed that the target date for operating the GCC railway network would be December 2030.
This meeting was very important today. The most important part of it was the agreement to target 2030 for the operation of the common rail network between the 6 countries, but also a lot of discussions around the regulatory framework for the rail network, as well as the discussions on the in general about the land transport, regulating the land transport to increase the competitiveness of the Gulf country in this arena, as well as some discussions to do with the environment part of the marine affairs.
Their Excellencies also discussed issuing the land transport strategy for the GCC countries and the executive regulations of the unified law system for international land transport between the GCC countries.
We've discussed also the project to develop a strategy for the GCC countries on the transport sector. This strategy, we believe, in our opinion, that is going to also pave the roadmap between the GCC countries so that it can benefit the sector and it can reflect effectively and for the benefit of the GCC countries. The membership of the IMO, the International Maritime Organization, was also another topic. But the subject, as the member states are already a member in the IMO, I think it's worth that we give it further studies and further evaluation so that we have a clear view on the benefit that we expected from joining the membership.
Among other regulatory measures, the meeting recommended the espousal of a unified regulatory framework for conducting evidentiary tests for ballast water on board ships at the GCC ports. The railway network, among other projects brought at the meeting, will further facilitate commercial exchange between the GCC states, thus boosting economic growth. For the Sultanate of Oman Television, Saleh Mukhalfan Al-Rahbi, Muscat.
The Sultanate of Oman and Kuwait affirmed the strong historic relations between the two countries and mutual care to nurture the relations in various fields during a meeting between His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamad Al Busaidi, the Foreign Minister of the Sultanate of Oman, and His Excellency Sheikh Salim Abdullah Al Jaber Al Sabah, the Foreign Minister of Kuwait. Both sides exchanged views on the current regional international issues, including the brutal Israeli aggression on Gaza Strip, and called for intensifying regional and international de-escalation efforts, providing humanitarian relief mission, and protecting civilians. The two ministers welcomed the UN Council resolution that was issued yesterday on a humanitarian truce and stressed on the importance of unified global standards for the implementation of international law. During the meeting, the two ministers signed 2 memoranda of understanding and 2 executive programs in higher education, technical cooperation in environment protection, and industrial export development. The Foreign Ministry strongly condemned the attack by the Israeli occupation forces on Shifa Medical Complex in Gaza City. The Sultanate of Oman expressed condemnation for those ongoing Israeli assaults and inhumane practices against patients, healthcare workers, and refugees in the complex, as well as the Israeli shelling of the area surrounding the Jordanian field hospital. These actions represent a continuation of Israel's flagrant violations of international law and disregard for agreements and humanitarian norms. The Foreign Ministry reiterated Oman's call upon the international community to urgently act to halt the deteriorating security, political, and humanitarian situation in Gaza, ensuring the protection of civilians and medical facilities while opening safe passages for delivering relief aid and humanitarian assistance to the population. The Ministry of Labor announced to job seekers who have not previously worked the availability of 503 job opportunities distributed in various governorates and private sector institutions that wish to benefit from the wage subsidy initiative through the Job Opportunities service on the ministry's website or registration through the Ma'ak application. The ministry continues its effort to provide job opportunities for job seekers in all specializations and qualifications in accordance with the set vision and coordination between the ministry and various private sector institutions to support its vacant job opportunities in various fields. The Ministry of Health celebrated the inauguration of the National Medical Response Team for Emergency and Disaster Situations. This team consists of a group of specialists trained and equipped to deal with various emergency scenarios, and the team will work to ensure a rapid and organized response to any event that threatens public health. The National Medical Response Team for Emergencies and Disasters represents a pivotal element in the emergency and crisis management system in the health sector. The inauguration ceremony was held under the auspices of His Excellency Dr. Hilal bin Ali Al-Sabti, Minister of Health. The Sultanate of Oman won membership in the Executive Council of UNESCO for the period 2023 to 2027 after obtaining 159 votes as part of the work of the 42nd session of the General Conference of UNESCO held in Paris until November 22nd. The Sultanate of Oman's accession to membership in the Executive Council confirms its high standing on the international scene, the effectiveness of its successful diplomatic relations, and its keen interest in cooperating with all member states to achieve common goals and interests in the areas of UNESCO's work. This accession also considers an opportunity to highlight the Sultanate of Oman's role in spreading the culture of peace and tolerance and to transfer its successful experiences and expertise as a role model in achieving sustainable development goals. Still to come in our news bulletin. Wilaya of Sur hosts artwork exhibition reflecting the works of a promising Omani artist. The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion launched 3 electronic platforms to improve the business environment in the Sultanate of Oman. More details in the following report.
To promote comprehensive digital transformation and enhance the investment environment in the Sultanate of Oman, the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion has launched 3 electronic platforms: Oman Business Platform, Ma'roof Oman and Hazm. These platforms aim to make the use of digital technologies to improve efficiency and carry out tasks in innovative ways.
Has initiated to bring up all the other platforms in one single room. Electronic rooms that will facilitate all the process for traders, enabling the notified body to upload all the conformity certificates and overcome about all the obstacles that might be faced by traders.
The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion seeks to facilitate the procedures for starting businesses, encouraging investors to establish various projects that feed the national economy, enhance economic activity, and improve and facilitate the business environment in line with the best global practices. This also enhances Oman's international indicators in terms of ease of starting business, competitiveness, and innovation.
So Ma'roof Oman is a platform that came in accordance with the new legislation that came out from the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion that aims to really regulate the e-commerce sector in Oman. Of course, it was developed by Rihal in partnership with Rihal and Thaqa, which is a Saudi company that we're dealing with.
The new services that we're launching will help even local and foreign investors to understand, raise awareness, understand how they're going to open the business, what kind of fees they have to pay, what are the required documents.
Statistics indicate that the number of transactions completed through the Oman Business Platform has exceeded 800,000 as of this November. The number of applications for investment license through the platform has exceeded 41,000 licenses, and more than 500,000 automatic licenses by the end of last October. The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion launches 3 electronic platforms to improve the business environment in the Sultanate of Oman and drive the Omani economy forward. These platforms are based on innovation and advanced technologies. For Oman TV, Ahmed bin Hilal al-Busaidi, Muscat.
OQ Company revealed that the value of the contracts and purchases awarded to national companies this year reached $47 million during the period from January to October. This came during OQ Forum for an in-country value in the Wilaya of Salalah. The forum seeks to expand the volume of beneficiaries from OQ contracts and tenders. The inauguration ceremony was held under the auspices of His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohsen Al Ghassani, Chairman of Dhofar Municipality. In another context, the Ministry of Health celebrated the 23rd anniversary of the start of the cochlear implant program.
The number of cochlear implant surgeries in Oman has doubled in the past 2 years, and Nahda Hospital has performed over 650 cochlear implant surgeries in the last 2 decades, with more than 95% for children who lost their hearing either before or after birth. The Minister of Health celebrated 23 years since the inception of the cochlear implant program, initiating 3 surgeries in 2000, marking the launch of the program in Oman.
Today we are celebrating we are completing more than 23 years from starting the cochlear implant program. The program, which was started in 2000 with 3 cases, then now we complete more than 653 cases.
The cochlear device contributes significantly to improving hearing in children and adults with severe hearing impairment, giving them hope to regain the gift of hearing, enabling them to live without barriers hindering their communication with others.
We are aiming to increase the number as well, and we have started as well doing these surgeries under local anesthesia, so it has such surgeries can be done as a daycare surgery. It's one of the safest surgeries that can be done, and it gives hope for those who have lost their hearing as well.
It's worth mentioning that since last year, Nahda Hospital has started cochlear implant surgeries for adults under local anesthesia.
Visual art studios and exhibitions are considered as a window in which artists produce and display artworks to the audience. This concept is clearly reflected in the private exhibition of artist Saeed Al-Alawi in Wilaya of Sur. Our crew visited Saeed's exhibition and came up with the following report.
In between Al-Aija townhouses, the studio of the visual artist Saeed Al-Alawi is located. He turned one room of his own house into studio to continue his passion that started in the early 80s, as he is using his talent to document some details of the Omani heritage, history, and traditions.
I found this place in order to continue my passion and hobby of drawing. I wanted to have my private places because there's no special places here in Sur. We can practice drawing and artist.
Here, Saeed has mixed 2 types, namely abstract and expressionism, to create a wonderful artwork demonstrating the way of Holy Quran teaching in the past.
This place is open to all visitors to come and see my artwork, which is more civilized in calligraphy and abstract.
The way Saeed mixes the colors produces masterpieces full of meanings, reflecting some Omani traditional arts and culture, by using another type called calligraphy. Saeed has opened this place in order to practice his passion and to open it for all visitors to come and see his amazing artwork, as he enjoys displaying and sharing his artwork with others and explaining their deep meanings. Sultan bin Saif Sarai from South الشرقية Governorate, Wilaya of Sur.
The tourism winter is here and has already started witnessing visitors coming from many parts of the world. More details in the following report.
The winter tourism season has entered in the Sultanate with visitors coming from many countries of the world. A large number of visitors are in Muscat, touring around different parts of Muscat touristic areas, including museums, forts, and souks. Some of the visitors came to Muscat by road from neighboring countries, while a large number of them arrived here on board cruise ship from various countries. November up to April is the time when the movement of cruise ships increases in the Sultanate.
Once again, I'm in Beit Al Zubair with another group that we've been doing all the countries here. Started with Emirates, and then we're going to Qatar, and now we're in Oman to show the culture, the Arabic culture, to people that we've brought from America. They're actually Polish people from America, and they're loving it here. It's an amazing experience for them, and especially here in Oman, to see the Arabic culture. They're having a great time.
The Sultanate of Oman is annually witnessing visitors of many cruise ships due to its sea location overlooking the Indian Ocean, the Arabian Sea, and the Sea of Oman. Oman is a place one can appreciate its beauty, and one would easily be exposed to its culture, traditions, and heritage, while enjoying the natural elements of the diversity of Omani environments. Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty receives cables of greetings on the 53rd National Day. The International Monetary Fund affirms the continued recovery of the Omani economy with 4% growth and reveals at the end of its visit to accelerated growth of non-oil activities. The Committee of GCC Ministers of Transport and Communications agreed to operate the railway project by the end of 2030. The Foreign Ministry strongly condemns the attack by the Israeli occupation forces on the Shifa medical complex in Gaza City and the Israeli shelling of the area surrounding the Jordanian field hospital, and calls upon the international community to urgently act to halt the deteriorating situation in Gaza. And the Sultanate of Oman won membership in the Executive Council of UNESCO for 4 years. With that, we come to the end of tonight's bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's a good night and have a great weekend.